Dear Candace Owens, Candace Owens, Candace Owens, Candace Owens. You be disappointment, baby. You know, you be disappointment. You know, I mean, I respect some of the things that you be saying because I watch you and I follow you and things like that. You know, and I feel like Candace Owens can be a real help to the black community. She really could. But this is where I feel like Candace Owens be going wrong, right? Every time something happens to a black person, especially by the police, it always seems like Candace Owens just comes out of nowhere and always just flips the script. It's like with George Floyd. For some reason, she had to bring up George Floyd criminal history. She had to say that we're looking up to George Floyd, or we're looking up to a criminal, or you know, you had to bring up his history. For what reason, I don't know, because that has nothing to do with why 3 police officers was really on one man, or one police officer held his knee on his neck for 8 minutes straight, right? Let the judge decide if he's a criminal or not and send him to jail. Let the judge decide all that. Not the police officer decide that and be in the car, and just because you ran his name and he have a long track record, that all of a sudden I'm going to handle this guy with a whole bunch of brute force. That's not your job to do that. Your job is to apprehend the suspect and bring the suspect in. That is what your job is, unless your life is in danger. So when you go back and watch the George Floyd tapes, right, Miss Candace Owens, because you have a major platform, like you have millions of people following you, right? So for people who are really uninformed about what's really going on at a lower level, you know, not the statistics, the lower level. And what I mean by that, the statistics to the lower level, for people who like, what are you talking about? We talking about, let's say you watching something about a laptop on YouTube, right? Or you reading, you checking the statistics on the laptop, the CPU, the graphics card, you know, how much RAM do I need? 32 gigs, 64 gigs, and you're doing all this research, right? And like, you can't come up to a conclusion. You really can, but you would never actually know until you get that computer home and compare it to whatever job you're trying to compare it to. So that's kind of how I feel about Candace Owens. It's like she compared all these black folks into numbers. That's just it. Okay. If you have this major platform and you got millions of people watching you, right? Why is all the time a black person get killed or shot by a police officer, you always bringing up their history, their police record? You're always saying that this person wasn't an angel. You're always saying, why are we out here protesting about this person? This person doesn't need to get talked about. This, that, this, and that. Miss Candace Owens, come on, baby. What's that? Your platform should be that police officers should not be using brute force in certain situations. Your platform should be more of on, okay, in that situation, yes, she had a knife, but what could have been done to prevent that? Did she have to get shot? Because it's 1,001 cases where white people have knives and guns and all type of things and have attacked the police and have not gotten shot at, have been taken in peacefully, stopped and got Burger King and McDonald's. So I feel like this whole police thing that they got going on, they need to go back to the drawing board, right? And this is one of the instances between George Floyd and Makhia Bryant. Makhia Bryant is the second thing that make police need to go back to the drawing board is this. If you're a trained officer, then you should recognize a higher threat to a lower threat to a medium threat, right? You seen a female that was out there. So she could have easily been stopped by you either tackling her, you shooting with a less impactful round. Something could have been done than brute force the way that girl was just shot dead down out there. You can call it what you want, call it how you see it. I don't care. The thing is, when police pull me over, I shouldn't be scared for my life. When the police get called to the scene, we shouldn't be scared for our life. When the police pull up, the police should have real training of really how to assess a situation, more of, okay, just pull my gun out and draw my gun. But then when the shoe be on the other foot, dealing with a Caucasian person, you try to do whatever you can to assess the situation. It's a lot of videos on the web of that. But when it comes to these black people, it's always shoot first and ask questions later. Why? And then the community is so sleep about what's going on, really about history and just being aware about what's going on, to where they just don't know or just don't care. To be honest with you, because you could talk about a lot of this stuff, but a lot of people full of that weed, they high, they loaded, they drunk, they on some other, they on that other stuff, whatever. They really don't care. And like, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, damn, like, how did they do it? Like, how did they get us to the point to where it's like, you got all this stuff going on. You got wars going on in other countries. You got people getting assassinated in other countries. You got police brutality in America. You got all this stuff going on in the world, but yet our people is like unaware of a lot of this stuff that's going on. We more aware of fashion, what's going on with music, the latest dance trends, and I like that stuff. But man, we got to have somebody that keeps us up on this type of stuff, because we can't just be singing and dancing all the time, bro. We can't just be singing and dancing all the time, bro. To the point to where it's like we just numb to all these killings and police brutality and all this stuff that's going on. And I'm gonna say this before I get out of here. A lot of people say, okay, well, why are you talking about police brutality and you don't talk about black on black crime? I'll tell you why. When you cut the news on, do you hear them talking about white on white crime? Do you hear them talking about European on European crime? Do you hear them talking about Chinese on Chinese crime? Do you hear them talking about Mexican on Mexican crime? Do you hear that at all? You don't hear that, right? If it's case by case. But yet, every time a black man gets to talking about police brutality and this case, and how the police treats us, is always, why y'all talking about the police? When Lil Ray just shot somebody the other day in the hood. And that's the distraction that Candace Owens and a lot of these other people who black and got a major platform that a lot of people be listening to, they be throwing people off. And I'm not denouncing her, because I actually like Candace Owens. I feel like she can do a lot of good if she was able to come back to sisterhood, to be honest with you. You need to date somebody like me. And I'm quite sure if she ever looked at this video, she probably would just laugh, she would denounce it, or whatever. It's all good. But to say that you know history so much about the Republican Party, the Democrat Party, and all these things, which shows me Candace Owens know history. Candace Owens couldn't be in the place that she at if she didn't study history. She didn't go to some type of school and know what she know. So if she know all these things, why wouldn't she marry a black man and lift a black man up to show the community what a black couple look like? Why wouldn't she do that? Why every time a black person get killed or shot by the police, she always talking about their criminal history? You never hear Candace Owens talking about no white people like talking about it at all. I watch Candace Owens' show. It's always you talking about the Black Lives Movement and this, that. Now, I got a video on Miss Colors now. Don't get me wrong. And like I say, some of the stuff with Candace Owens I agree with, like the Black Lives Matter movement. I agree with her on that. But every time we having an issue with these police killings and you always bringing up the criminal history and this and that ain't got nothing to do with somebody getting their life taken or why the police officer used excessive violence. Stop using distractive tactics, Ms. Owens, because you have a major platform and you got people that's listening to you who, you know what it is. People who haven't really stepped through that door of upper knowledge. People who might just go to work, come home, and just watch the news or something. That ain't right, bro. That ain't right how they just shot that girl like that. Had the girl out there, just shot the girl like a dog. Dragged her a little bit. Just handled the girl like a dog, man. That like I say, some stuff I care about, some stuff I don't. And that was just one issue that I looked at, and I just seen myself in a lot of situations, bro. And I seen how life to certain people is worth nothing. You didn't see anything happen when that police officer took her life. Life carried on as usual. You got to see it from a different perspective, bro. You really got to see it from a different perspective. You got to look at it the way they looking at it. If we were slaves, if they didn't like us, if they hit us with shot us with water hoses, let dogs bite us, all this stuff happened. We couldn't even drink out the same water fountain. We couldn't even ride in the front of the bus. All this stuff that happened to us. Do you think in 2021 that they care about black people? Do you think America has changed their ways? Do you think America has went back and rewritten the Constitution? Just because they changed presidents don't mean nothing. To me, a president is just like a manager or a principal of a school. They change, but the rules don't. That's why you see different presidents coming in office, and they come and go and come and go. But the people that they work for is there. They ain't going nowhere. The president is just somebody that come in and just picking up with the last one left off. Pretty much. And people put all their faith into a president to get misled for 4 years. When you look at Biden can Biden, he can barely read the cards. Come on. Is this a man that's really running the world? Come on. You've never seen a commercial for the IRS. Once you start looking at the world from a different point of view, you're going to start saying, aha, I see. And a major distraction in the black community is people just unaware of history. That's the major though right there. It's just history. Because once you study history, then you will know signs. You will know symbols. You will know words. When you see something, you can detect it right away. Some of these famous fashion lines that have been around for hundreds of years, you can see, they come from the King Henry family, or this and that. But by you being unaware of your history, unattached from your origin, don't know who you are, where you come from, and don't even care to even know, that's a lost tribe. That's the lost tribe right there. I do things for education. Not to say I know this and you don't. But the information is out there. All you got to do is look for it, research it. People say, you go on Google and search research on Google. How you know it's right? Because you got to do multiple research. You just can't go on Google and trust that. You got to do multiple research. Instead of spending all your time putting a TikTok video together or an Instagram video together, spend some time researching the world and how the world works. That's when you start unlocking things. I'm trying to do my part, but it's like, there's only so much I could do, because it's like, I wish I really had a major platform, but I really don't, you know what I'm saying? So I got to just do my part and just speak my piece. But I mean, every day, bro, is a police officer killing a black person. And you telling me that there's nothing else that y'all can do but use brute force. If I got my hands up like this and I got 6 officers pointing guns at me, I mean, how are y'all at a disadvantage when y'all got vests on, masks on, guns that dudes using off a war zone? Like, how are y'all at a disadvantage and I'm one person doing like this? Or maybe I got somebody else in the car and I'm like this. I have no vest. I have nothing on. You see me with no gun. And y'all, it's 6 of y'all pointing the gun at me. It's 6 people yelling at me. saying do this, do that. I'm scared. I'm nervous. You see me like this. I don't know what to do. And you shoot me anyway. I mean, it's a game. Then the president issue a little statement. You see the mom or the daddy of the person who got shot come on TV and be crying. They set up a GoFundMe account. They sue the city, get a couple million, and it happened all over again. But it's getting to the point to where when all black people, entertainers, singers, dancers, stop what they doing and focus on the problem, actually focus on the problem and say, you know what? We tired of this. No more. That's when it's going to change overnight. When kids start studying history, cut that music out sometime. Ain't nothing wrong with Young Boy. Shout out to Young Boy, all that rap, all that Quando, King Von, Lil Durk. I love all of it. I love the new school music. I have nothing against it. But what they not telling y'all, they not telling y'all history. They telling y'all the history of the things that they've done. They telling y'all the history of the wars that they've been in. They're not telling y'all to go study the history of the world so you can have a better perception of what's going on. Before I get out of here, when you watch that video of Makhia Bryant, think about this. When that cop shot her, she had enough strength at 16 years old. She had enough strength to go from looking like this and pull herself over and try to get up. Go watch the video. 16 years old, had enough strength to pull over and try to get herself up. They say she passed at the hospital. That's a lie. And that girl died on the scene. The media NyQuil, bro. They NyQuil. They don't want to admit to you that half of these police officers just scary dudes. I ain't even going to put no color to it. I'm just going to say half of these police officers just scary dudes. Scary men. With a badge on. Everybody can't be that brave. Out of 1,000 men, you think 1,000 men brave? Nah. Those cops human just like we human. But if you train, you ready for things like that. When you train, you ready to pull up on the scene and see somebody with a knife. You train for that. Sad case right now in 2021, bro, because we distracted, got stimulus checks coming, everybody partying, dancing, twerking. None of these major celebrities really speaking on nothing. People don't know their history. We just unwrapped right now. We a lost tribe right now. And I'm going to speak on it. I don't really care about all the other stuff. Because when you're official, you're official. You can do whatever. Go anywhere when you're official. You can talk about anything. So I'm just saying, man, stop for a second, look around, and spread some truth. Thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. I'm out. Peace.